The views and opinions on Talk of the Town are those of the individuals. They do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of Access Communications.
Hello, Yorkton. How you doing? This is Lindsay Camp with Talk of the Town. We're here with Sir Ryan Crouse, the Yorkton storm hunter. You just saw a whole bunch of his photos, all beautiful nature shots of butterflies and lilies and lots of clouds and skies and what we're known and famous for here in Saskatchewan, the land of the living skies. And he seems to be able to just capture all of these moments incredibly, just like you saw there. So hello, Sir Ryan. Can you tell us we saw some of your photos, but what else do you do? You seem like just like this beautiful hodgepodge of cornucopia of amazing talents that you have.
Well, besides photography and my novice storage chasing, I've done a lot of graphic designs, like Photoshop, business cards, logos, band logos. I'm a guitarist, so I have my own instrumental heavy metal band. And I also have Starverse Comics, which is one of Canada's only companies in small press for comics that's been around for about 10 years plus. So yeah, and I do comic inking, so I keep myself busy.
Okay, so just a beautiful artisan of all sorts and models and makes and what's the word I'm looking for? Anyway, lots of sculpting and stuff going on.
Anything in the art world is what I try to stay in. Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay, and so have you always been very artsy-fartsy?
Yeah, I used to get in trouble all the time at school because I drew on my margins, and apparently teachers don't like that. So I've done that pretty much my whole life. My erasers I couldn't use because I always had little tank tracks on them, stuff like, to push.
Sky colors outside of the lines.
Yeah,
I should encourage you to do that because, I mean, now you're living the dream, hey, of your dream.
That's right, yeah.
Right, okay, and so how long have you been doing this? Your whole life, I suppose.
Yeah.
But how long did it take you to really get into doing these things as a profession?
The thing with photography, I've done for a couple of years, but got bigger into it, I would say about May of this year. I bought myself a Canon Rebel T2i, and kind of went with it. Got myself a few good lenses and a nice camera bag, and yeah.
And then just kind of hit the trail and started snapping the beautiful world around us?
Yeah, went outside. People always tell me there's nothing to see in Yorkton, so I like to show people that they're highly wrong. I sat out for 4 hours outside of the road going towards Saskatoon, and just about 4 miles out, and I took a picture of some intense lightning, a sky literally changing to 5 colors, and it's something that most people I see around here when they're on their cell phones, they will never ever get a chance of seeing. So I say I'm documenting history for people around here that don't want to go outside and see it themselves.
Right, so I guess that's the thing, as we get busy trying to, live somebody else's dream, we're tapping into everybody and what they're doing and kind of forget and don't see what's right in front of us and stop and smell the roses, right? It's not a,
Yeah.
not a new concept, so thanks for that. And so you do a lot of nature photography, you do portraits and whatnot. What other type of photography do you do?
I've done a couple wedding photography, but I'm still learning in that stage. I've got a lot of learning to do with that. I'm actually taking some courses in September 14th and 15th from Greg Johnson, Tornado Hunter. He's doing some in Yorkton, so that'll be exciting. Get to the next level. I've done a lot of birds, got some good canary shots and some chickadees, and drove out to the Lake of the Prairies, take some scenic shots.
Okay, so you do weddings, and so you're willing to do events and whatnot, birthday parties, family portraits and things like that is something that you've got a few under your belt and excited to expand on?
Oh, definitely. I say if whatever's in front of me, I'll take a picture of. I've been trying to get people to get big into. I see pet photography is getting big, so I've done some practice now with pet photography and stuff like that. So if people want their dogs taken picture of or the cats.
You're the guy.
I'm the guy.
Okay, so I'm just noticing, the Storm Hunter shirt that you've got on. Can you tell us just a little bit about that and what kind of inspired you to get into that?
Well, actually, I've been a storm freak my whole life. I remember even going to school and always looking up in the sky for whatever reason. And then as a kid, we've had crazy storms. Like my family's out of Roxton. We've had crazy storms out there. Some of the most wild lightning I've ever seen. We've had twisters come through our yard, plow clouds, you name it, we've had it. So I started seeing more and more of it on TV and like the show on the Discovery Channel, and I was like, that'd be something really fun to do. It's I would like to down the road have my own vehicle and do it, but that's going to take time, and you know, I'm sure there's a price to come with it, so you got to be able to afford to do that. So, right.
Well, if you need some people to man your crew, ever since I also like just a storm junkie since I was a kid. And, saw some really up close tornadoes. Saw the movie Twister, and was kind of like, yeah, hey, we can do that, like as a fun and games and profession, right? So I'm in.
Yeah. It's the thrill of, well, not just taking the picture, but being there watching, this amazing thing in front of you.
Just the absolute like uncontainable force of Mother Nature that... When
people go outside and they see these giant mammoth clouds and they're scared, and you see a twister and they run in their basement, I generally run outside. And I've always been like that.
Okay, and so you're talking about graphic design as well. Can you tell us a little bit about that and where we might be able to use your services?
I've tried to do a little bit of everything with it. I've done everything from posters, business cards, logos, company logos, like to put on coffee mugs and stuff like that, T-shirt designs.
You had said something about band logos. That sounded pretty interesting, like really kind of a global network that doesn't,
Yeah, without the internet, it would be non-existent. There's places online like Ultimate Guitar is a website based for guitar music, but there's also a lot of people there who are small, who can't afford graphic designers, and that's kind of what kind of got me started. Because I'm like, well, if I can make my logo, I'm not out there to make a lot of money on it. I'm just out there because someone else needs the help, and if I've got a few minutes to try doing something, I'll try up their logo, and if they're happy, then my logo's in Belgium and Brazil, and I've been in Serbia, and I don't know, about 9 to 11 countries, Argentina.
Wow, fascinating. And so any type of business, though, or do you have a certain forte that you kind of have just a natural tendency toward?
For the bands?
Well, just anybody in general.
Just anybody? I've done everything from janitor designs to, I don't know, yeah, pretty much anything, really. I can't think of anything right now. But.
So generally you just have a consultation with them and to see what it is that they would actually like, what their goals would be, and then you...
Yeah, they phone me or email me and say, hey, can you do this? And if I don't really sound keen on it, I'll clearly say no, but that's pretty rare. And yeah, that kind of...
Okay, and you'd also mentioned that you do some music. You're kind of like a Dick Van Dyke, a one-man heavy metal band. What's that about?
Yeah. Iron Dragon, it's the instrumental heavy metal project. It started out with me and another friend, and he's moved on to bigger things. And so now it's kind of me. I got a recording kind of set up in my basement, and my new album I'm working on, I kind of put on hold. I have an arm injury that I've been recovering from for about a year now, so I can't do the full length that I used to be able to play. And I've got some guest spots. There's a friend in Melville that might be doing some piano spots. I've got a drummer from Germany, formerly from the band Mystic Prophecy, who's Stefan Dietrich, who's actually going to be doing a song for me, just from the power of the internet, not wanting any money out of it. So I'm pretty excited by that.
Wow, so some great collaborations in the works here.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, and you've got a couple of albums put together already, do you?
Yeah, I did. The first one was more of a demo thing. It was more of a trial and error basis, just having a lot of fun. And the second one was more of a full-length featured album. It was right around 70 minutes. I've tried to fill up the CD as full as I can. And now I'm working on my third.
Okay. And so brilliant. So for any of the nature shots and all that kind of jazz, as I feel some wind coming upon us, how do you feel about this? Is there something big coming or just a little?
I hope so. Not for everybody else, but for me.
Right. So for those nature shots that are upon us now, people buy them to frame them and put them in their houses and all that kind of jazz, or?
I've been signed up with imagekind.com, and I have a bunch of my portraits on there that people can buy. If you find me on Facebook or find me on my website, I have links right to the ImageKind website. But yeah, I try putting my bird and my nature and my storm photos all in there because it seems to be like a big favorite right now is the lightning. Everyone likes their lightning.
Absolutely, and I think even just with some of these beautiful pictures that we've seen in the collages and the ones that you've made reference to, should maybe mention that they've been entered in a couple of contests, Canadian Geographic, or correct me?
Yeah, I have 4 photos in the Canadian, one of them for, I think it's Amateur Photographer of the Year or something like that. One of them is a bee. It was actually like the first picture I took with the new camera, and everyone just loved it, so I entered it and they accepted it. And another one's this butterfly and a Saskatchewan prairie lily. And then I have some storm photos that are on a Canadian Geographic with the Weather Network. They're doing this I think it's called What's Your Storm or something, Watch Your Weather or something like that. And so I have a couple also entered into that one.
Okay, so for some amateur photographers that are just getting started and whatnot, what kind of advice would you have for them as if they're just starting?
Don't use auto, use manual, and take as much pictures as you can and just play with all your settings. Things like bulb mode is a fun thing to play with, but you have to learn how to use it. I read a lot of books on it, and then had to go out, practice, read more about it, and read again, because just sitting there looking at the camera, you won't figure it out.
Right, so, find some information, some knowledge, and then apply it, and go out and play with it and see what works.
Like, since May, I've taken well over 7,000 pictures with my camera.
And have you noticed a lot, since you've taken some courses and had some hands-on instruction or not, did that make a huge difference for you?
Well, I haven't taken the course yet.
Okay.
But so right now, all the knowledge I have, my dad was a photographer years ago, and he had one of the original, like the older Canons. So I've been learning from him, and then applying into the digital era. So now, when I have my course in the middle of September, that'll be technically my first training, I guess.
Right. First, yes, certified instruction of whatever that is. I think we usually find more when we just, find a passion and just follow that excitement, and it usually carries us to a pretty great spot that I think you've already found. So it'll be nice to refine some skills, but to notice that they're already there and whatnot. And even just, I noticed that you had entered a few contests. I think people, when they're just amateurs and whatnot, I think that's probably a great confidence booster just to, really put your photos out there and maybe be able to make some money from them as well, hey?
Well, definitely. You're not going to win everything. You may not win anything, but people see your name, and that's really all that matters, Like, I've entered, there's another website, viewbug.com. I must have entered, 30 contests, and I never won none of them, but I've had a lot of people comment on my pictures, and that's really all that matters,
Mm-hmm.
You want people to see, and they're like, oh, wow, that's a nice picture. So then, might make it onto his desktop wallpaper.
Okay. Do you have any, so you said viewbug.com. Are there some other places that people could check into to maybe to get some of their photos out there?
Flickr is an amazing website for photography. Facebook's nice. Flickr's nice because they have photo groups that are really interact with, people who can share and like and favorite and stuff like that.
You just get a lot of feedback, which is nice.
Yeah, and DeviantArt's another one that's really well.
Can you say that again?
It's DeviantArt.
Deviant art?
Yeah, it's for artist, photographer, painter, anything to do with the art world. You can upload your work on there, and people will share.
Are you mainly just exposed in the digital world, or do you have any just like markets or anything like that you go to where people can run into you and?
I've done a couple shows, or not really shows, but I've been at the flea market I've done in town here, that one-day gigantic flea market. I've had some stuff there. This will be the first time I've been there with my photos, so I'll have a few of my 8x10 prints and stuff that I'll be selling. I've been there a few times with my comic books and my music and stuff in the past, and they're always really fun to do because Yorkton likes coming out and checking out their markets and their their little one-day shop.
Where everybody gets to showcase their beautiful natural talents.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little about Facebook or comic booking? I don't know really much of anything about the comic book world, so tell me something about that.
It's probably the hardest industry to get into and make a name for yourself. I've been doing it since '98. Ever since I was a little kid, I've had this little thing drawing on the school bus and stuff like this, and I've always called it Starburst Comics. So I've stuck with the name because it's what people around here knew me through. I got into it. I have 5 published titles. My 5th one I got done their Zine format, which is Benny Staples with 2 sides. That's the small press underground world calls it. And my last one, my latest one, Techstorm Rages of War issue 2, I had done up properly, so it's standard comic book form, colored cover. my big thing in it is the comic inking, where where penciler will send you the work and you'll do your details and your perspective lines and stuff like that. That's always been my strong point. I've done some work for a few other companies in the States and a couple in Australia, I believe. None of them all major releases, all just small press books. But it is definitely a hard field to get into. Much harder than I thought.
Okay, and so you mentioned that that's what people know you from. So you're born and raised here in Yorkton?
Well, I was born in Saskatoon and basically raised in the Yorkton, Roxton area. Calder is where I went to school. Yeah.
Brilliant. And so how long have you been in Yorkton here then?
Since pretty much '84.
A significant amount of time.
So
You're from here at this point. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Brilliant. And so, so we've touched on the digital graphics, the photography, the comic booking, and so your band as well. You kind of put that together and dub other people in and have a collaboration that way. And what are we missing? What else are some of the things you do? The storm hunting business. So you've just been kind of just casually running around chasing storms and taking pictures of them?
Yeah, pretty much. I haven't, I'm using my own car, so I'm not going to go drive into a hailstorm or into, anywhere and lose my car insurance or something like that. Down the road, I would like to, have my own storm vehicle and kind of be the one around Yorkton area to keep putting Yorkton on the map with all these, weird little things that I keep finding myself getting into. But yeah, it's a thrill. I've seen like down the Ryan Road, Esterhazy direction, or Ebenezer, pardon me. I've seen some of the craziest lightning just sitting on a dirt road for 4 hours watching a storm build, and it's just amazing.
Ryan, maybe do you have any stories that you might be able to share with us from, any of your life experiences with storms?
Well, years ago, and I can't remember exactly how long, I would say well over 15, my dad and I were helping build his garage, and there was some crazy storm coming through our yard. Mom and my younger brother ran into the basement, and Dad and I, we just had the skeleton on the frame yet, so we each pretty much grabbed a pole and watched the storm go through. It was a twister that went, and it didn't completely touch down, but it ripped apart a piece of our row of trees when you drive through our driveway. And then it went and ended up hitting, I believe, a garage or something in Roxton, and almost hit the corner store. We jumped in our truck and we followed it. Hail, the whole works. Windy, very windy.
Left your mom and brother in the basement and hopped in the truck, ran into town to watch the twisters tear the town apart.
Yeah, Dad and I jumped in the truck and said, "Let's go follow this thing, see where it takes us." And that's probably why I am the way I am with the storms now. And I've had times when I used to work at my last job where outside, like in a garden center area, and I was always the one kind of keeping an eye on the sky. And we had a funnel cloud right between Walmart and Superstore, and it got windy and something actually blew off the side and hit me in the head and gave me a mild concussion. So a lot of the stuff I do, people avoid. I like to stand underneath trees to watch from angles so I don't get rained on. That's not good advice in a storm. That's the last place you should be.
Okay, so you're going to share with us all the don'ts